At some point in life, everyone will need to have the ability to stand strong. Now, when we hear the phrase standing strong, many of us picture someone that is confident, bold, and completely in control. But let's be honest, most people don't feel that way. Sometimes standing strong looks nothing like confidence. It might look like getting out of bed when you don't feel like facing the day. There are times when it looks like showing up to work after receiving bad news. Sometimes it means smiling at people while carrying burdens that nobody knows about. Strength is not about never feeling broken. Strength, in fact, is continuing even when you don't feel like it. Many people think standing strong means pretending everything is fine, but it doesn't mean that. Standing strong means facing reality without surrendering to it. It means acknowledging the pain without allowing the pain to become your identity. Think about a tree during a storm. The strongest trees aren't the ones that never move. They're the ones that bend without breaking. The rigid tree often snaps. The flexible tree survives. And the same is true for us as human beings. Real strength is not about stubbornness or resilience, but it's the ability to adapt, recover, and continue. It means choosing to move forward one step at a time when life becomes difficult. And perhaps that's the first lesson of today's episode. You don't have to be fearless to be strong. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to feel confident every day. You simply have to keep standing. Because strength isn't measured by how loudly you fight. It's measured by how faithfully you continue. So today, ask yourself, what challenge am I facing right now? And what would it look like to simply take the next step? Not the next 10 steps, not the next year, just the step. Sometimes standing strong starts there. One step, one decision, and one day at a time. So ask yourself another question. Why is standing strong so hard? Let's talk about why standing strong is so hard. Let's talk about why standing strong is so difficult. Because if we're truly honest, most people don't struggle with being strong for a day. The challenge actually comes when the pressure doesn't leave. It's one thing to face a difficult week. It's another thing to face a difficult year. Have you ever noticed how people often say, "Oh, just hang in there"? And yes, that sounds encouraging. But it sounds encouraging only until you've been hanging in there for months or years. I once met a person who lost her job after working for the same company for about 23 years. She thought finding another job would take a few weeks. Weeks became months, months became over a year. And so each interview ended with disappointment, each rejection chipped away at her confidence. What really made it so difficult wasn't the rejection itself. It was the uncertainty, the not knowing, the waiting. And that's often what wears us down. Not the storm, not the length of the storm, not the unanswered questions. The delayed breakthrough, the endless waiting room of life. Many people quit not because they are weak. They quit because they are exhausted. And that's why standing strong requires endurance. And endurance is simply strength stretched over time. Your strength begins on the inside. It begins on the inside of you. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to look strong before they actually become strong. Real strength starts internally. Think about a skyscraper. People admire the height. Nobody talks about the foundation. Isn't that true? Think about it. Yet the taller the building, the deeper the foundation must be. And the same is true for us. When life begins to shake us, we discover what we're built on. When you're going through a hard time, your greatest challenge isn't about rebuilding your life. It's about rebuilding yourself. You have to learn to be independent of your circumstances, because that's where true strength is formed. Allow your identity to be rooted in your values instead of your circumstances. Ask yourself, who am I when everything around me changes? What do I stand for? What values am I willing to compromise? You see, the stronger your foundation, the stronger your future. So how do you stand strong without becoming hard? One of the dangers of pain is that it can make us hard. We've all met people like that. We even meet ourselves. People who were hurt deeply will stop trusting. They stop caring. They stop opening their hearts. They convince themselves that they are becoming stronger. But in fact, we are actually becoming harder. There is a difference. Strength remains open, hardness closes down. Strength remains teachable, hardness becomes defensive. Strength can bend, hardness eventually breaks. You can tell yourself, I will never let anyone hurt me again. And at first it will sound wise, but really what you are saying is, I will never let anyone close enough again, because pain builds walls. The problem with walls is that they keep pain out, but they also keep connection out. Standing strong doesn't mean becoming emotionally unavailable. It means learning how to protect yourself, protect your peace without losing your humanity. So let's move on to standing strong in difficult relationships. Some of life's greatest tests comes through people, not circumstances. Yes, people. The difficult boss, the controlling friend, the toxic family member, the person who constantly drains your energy, the person who is abusive to you. So standing strong in relationships doesn't always mean fighting. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. I'm sure you can identify with this woman. There was a woman who spent years trying to make everyone happy. She said yes when she wanted to say no. She sacrificed her own needs to avoid disappointing others. She sacrificed her own dreams in order to build someone else's empire. Eventually, she became exhausted, not because people demanded too much, but because she never learned how to protect her own space. The day she started saying no was the day she began standing strong. And when she stood strong, people would start to call her insecure. When she stood strong, people didn't like her. When she stood strong, she became a problem to others. So you don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need everyone to understand your boundaries. Respect yourself, respect your boundaries. Standing strong often means choosing self-respect over the approval of others. And that can become uncomfortable, but it is absolutely necessary. Standing strong also makes you feel like you're standing alone. There are seasons in life when the crowd disappears. Your friends disappear. The phone stops ringing. The invitations become fewer. The support feels distant. The very people you once trusted seems to disappear. And loneliness begins to whisper dangerous thoughts. Maybe I'm failing. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But loneliness is not always evidence of failure. It is evidence of growth. Think about the butterfly. Before it flies, it enters the cocoon alone. Transformation often happens in isolation. You got to be alone. Some of your greatest breakthroughs may happen in private moments that nobody ever sees. The quiet seasons in life teach us lessons that busy seasons cannot. They teach you self-awareness, patience, resilience, confidence. Sometimes being alone is not punishment, it's actually preparation. How do we stand strong through failure and loss? Well, failure has a way of making us question everything. A failed business, a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or even a dream that didn't work out. Suddenly, we begin asking ourselves difficult questions. Was I wrong? Am I good enough? Should I stop trying? I read a story about a business person who invested his life savings into a business. Within 18 months, it collapsed. He lost almost everything. And for months and months, he felt embarrassed and totally defeated. But years later, he said something very interesting. The business failed, but I didn't. What a powerful distinction. You can actually experience failure without becoming a failure. The event is not your identity. The setback is not your story. The loss is not the end. Every person carries scars. Every resilient person has survived disappointment. So strength is not just avoiding loss. Strength is learning how to keep moving after it. Make an effort to stay strong daily. Many people wait for a life-changing breakthrough, but strength is rarely built through dramatic moments. It's actually built through ordinary days. Your daily choices, your small decisions, tiny acts of discipline. It's about choosing to get up, choosing to learn, choosing to care for yourself, choosing to take responsibility, choosing to rest when it's necessary. Think of strength like a savings account. Every positive decision is a small deposit. One deposit doesn't seem significant, but over time, the account grows. The same is true with your resilience. Small choices repeated consistently creates extraordinary strength. Don't underestimate the small steps that you take. It may be building tomorrow's breakthrough. The steps that you take could really influence the life of someone else. Someone is always watching. Your children, your family, your colleagues, your friends, your community. People may never tell you, but they notice how you respond under pressure. They notice whether you quit. They notice whether you keep going. They notice when you choose to accept abuse. They notice when you say enough is enough. One day, someone will tell you, you taught us what courage looks like. When you think nobody is watching, let me remind you, somebody is. The way you stand today may become someone else's inspiration tomorrow. Your strength creates ripples you may never fully see. As I come to the end of today's podcast, I want to leave you with this thought. You do not have to have everything figured out. You do not have to feel strong every day. You do not need to feel perfect every day. Standing strong is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about choosing to continue when quitting would be easier. It's about choosing the right path. It's about taking the next step when the path ahead feels uncertain. It's about making decisions that will change your life. Life will shake all of us at some point. Challenges will come. Losses will happen. Disappointments will arrive uninvited. People will arrive uninvited. People will desecrate your life. They will desecrate your home. They will desecrate your organization. But remember this, you have survived difficult days before. You have overcome obstacles before. You have made it through storms before, and you can do it again. If you're tired, take a rest. If you're discouraged, pause. If you're uncertain, take time to breathe. But don't give up. Keep moving, keep growing, keep standing, keep moving forward. Because the strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. And perhaps that's what standing strong is really all about. Not avoiding the storm, but becoming the person who can withstand that storm. I'm Sandra Elizabeth. Thank you for joining me on this first episode in a series called Unbreakable. I look forward to having you join me once again next week. If you would like to make contact with us or purchase some of our books, please email me at sandra@leadingauthority.co.za. Have a superb week ahead.